Good evening, everybody. It's time again for your Rowdies Talk Radio, the Green and Gold Gospel.
Hey there, little Red Riding Hood, I got a problem and it's complicated. Going through changes and I just can't ignore the signs. Hear them now and it's so loud it hurts. Hear me growl, hear me howl when the full moon is out. Hear me growl, you see me run, you see me jump. Try to fight, but I emerge with the prize in hand. You better watch out, it's gonna take more than what you got. All eyes are on me and the silence is deafening. You're so helpless against this full moon. Don't ever say I didn't warn you, because I came to play, came to play, I came to play, came to play, I came to play, came to play, I came to play. Wow!
Hello, Rowdies fans. Welcome to the Unused Substitutes. I am one of your hosts, Dan and Danino. I'm joined by Ben Wilcox here for your weekly dose of the Green and Gold Gospel. I don't really have any insults for Ben. I think this season was insulting enough. I don't think we really need to. I'm just kidding. The season was one for the books, if you want to say. Maybe not our favorite chapter, but one for the books. It went out not the way we were hoping, but I think the way we all kind of expected, despite Ben's unhinged optimism, I think is the way I put it. But rightfully so. I mean, this team could have done it. I don't even know if Indy won or not, if it was.
They lost.
So, oh man, that's just a little salt in the wound.
Yeah.
But Detroit is a playoff team, obviously,
Yep.
and it was always going to be an uphill battle to win by 2. And it's one of those things that, like, I don't know, man. The game itself was not great. They showed some great fight at the end, and they kept pace with Detroit in the first half. I would have liked to seen a little bit better. I do have questions that I think are now irrelevant, but we'll get into that. First half, it ended 0-0. We'll just run it down. Anyway, sorry. Before we get into it, how are you, Ben? I haven't seen you in like a month and a half. Probably should ask that.
Yeah. Look, all things considered, look, I'm good. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, it didn't end the way we wanted to. This is a very long season at points and also not. But I'm also grateful again, sitting here, to have had another Rowdies season. We're lucky enough to have the Rowdies here in our backyard, and even though there's a lot of bad that came throughout this year, I got a lot of good memories too, Yeah, I mean, I was really happy to see Owling packed, though. I'd love to kind of start in with that, though. I love that Owling was absolutely packed. I want to shout out to all the fans, Rouse Mobs, Skyway Casuals. Everybody showed up. And, I mean, a little quiet throughout the game. We'll get into some of that. But, man, after that goal, man, that place, it felt very much playoff-like. And it was very nice to kind of get that feeling one last time this year.
Yeah, it looked. I must confess, I was watching it on my wife's phone at a sports bar while the in-laws wanted to go to a sports bar to watch the Michigan game. So
Ooh.
I had to do that. But it was, the atmosphere looked great. I forgot what a packed Al Lang looked like. I love the feeling of when that place is electric. It is top tier. Like no other place like it, in my opinion. I love it to death. So it was really good to see everybody show up and show out for the last time, especially for Leo and Forrest. If you're listening to this, I know you know that they announced their retirements early in the week, and it was their last go at Al Lang, and professionally speaking. I think, we talked about, you and I discussed it several times throughout the year that it was likely Forrest's last season. Like the signs were pointing there. He started his landscaping construction business or whatever, and the injuries, and he was getting up there. Leo, also not really a surprise. He's been since that Achilles injury after his MVP year, he's just not been able to play. But man, those 6-7 years we got of fully healthy Leo, truly thankful for what we got to witness on the pitch from him. But they get their last dance at Al Lang, probably not the way they wanted to go out, but a 1-1 draw at home in front of a packed house was still good. It was I don't know, man. I have a lot of feelings. So before we get into feelings, let's get into facts. And that first half was 0-0. Felt like it could still go either way at halftime. It was entertaining, frustrating. What did you see that you liked, you didn't like?
I mean, I don't know if it's so much that I liked it or not. I mean, but it was predictable. I mean, this game was tense, and it was, I mean, they had as much writing on this game as we did. They needed to win. They really couldn't afford to take the chance of a tie. You know, even though they could get a tie and potentially go through, it's like, do you want to take that risk? And it was very obvious what their game plan was: to find the goal, park the bus, you know, try, and then if they couldn't, send their guys long over top. I mean, they got the speedy wingers. I mean, it was predictable what they were doing. And I get the Rowdies being tense in that first half because winning by 2 goals is a daunting task, especially after the year we've had. But against a team that has just as much stake in this game as we do, I'd hope we would see a little more just throw caution to the wind and go for it. And it just wasn't there. And I think that was probably the one thing that I understand why. I understand why it happened, why it ended up kind of culminating that way. I don't know that they were coached that way, but it ended up being that kind of game. And yeah, I mean, that first half was just, it was tense. Nobody wanted to make a mistake. Nobody was flinching, right? Like everybody was holding their ground. And you saw it. I mean, the consistency in passes, there were some moments where you're like, man, if you just made that play, take a risk. But nobody was willing to do that in the first half. And that's why you kind of ended with kind of a stale, even the crowd was stale. I mean, I think Ryan and the guys upstairs even talked about it during the broadcast, how it just was very, you could feel it throughout the entire place. And it was very quiet for 7,000 people to be there. Like, I mean, you could hear yourself talking, and it was a very odd feeling, but it's exactly what you expect. How did it come through on the broadcast?
I didn't have sound, so I can't speak to what they said. But I will say what I felt like, to me, to your point, was the first leg of a home and home KG play. Like, if you remember, I don't know if anybody really watched, or if you like especially the old like MLS playoffs, where like it was that first home, that first match was just this boring KG affair where, again, nobody wanted to make a mistake and nobody really tried. And it was just like, you're right. I think my feeling was, we need to win, and we need to win by 2 goals. It doesn't, like, just go for it, because they're not good. Like, Detroit wasn't really going to push hard, and they wanted to, like, so just go. Like, just go. We had the talent, like Paul Marie, Pashis, like, you know, I mean, I definitely think we missed Blake Bodley in that situation. He would have been
100%.
ideal. I do have issues with Aaron Guillen being benched for the full game and most of the last game. Not understanding that decision. I know he might not have had his best season, but like there hasn't been exactly stellar play in front of him. So, you know, like,
yeah, agreed.
But that's a whole separate conversation we'll save for like the season review. But yeah. I think I was just more concerned about how cautious we were playing, because you're at home, you have a stellar crowd there waiting to explode. Just make the play, and nobody was willing to do that in the first half. And then we come out in the second half, and I kept looking at Casey going, if we don't score by 75, like this game, we're not going to score 2 and not concede. So like, this is a problem.
Yeah.
And, you know, it ended up being a problem.
Yeah. I mean, that goal they scored, I mean, talk about, and it's so typical Rowdy, like, right, where the guy takes a shot, it has the most fortunate deflection off of Forrest you could have ever gotten. It was just enough to barely go inside the post, just outside of Bill Hamid's reach. It's just like, as soon as that happened, I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, you could see it on Forrest's face too, when he stayed on the ground for a minute. He was just like, oh no. Because, I mean, obviously, you know, Forrest, I mean, he takes that person like, I just cost us this. And even though it's not his fault, he's doing his job, making himself big to try and block the shot. I mean, that's why we've talked about taking shots from outside the box.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. But the temperature instantly rose from that moment. And the one thing I do like is that the team responded. And it just sucks that it took that goal for the team to say, screw it, we're going for it.
It's happened a lot this year. That's happened a lot.
Well, and I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, like, if you look at our entire year, this entire season, when have we ever come out hot? Once this year. We are a slow team, second half team at best.
And I would like to say that that also happened a lot under Neil, the slow starting.
Yes.
So it's not like a Dom problem. It's not a Steve Coleman problem. It wasn't a Robbie problem. It's a weirdly Rowdies problem, just like winning on the road, which I think actually we were better on the road this year, but that's a different talking point. But um but like it's been historically a Rowdies problem where those first few minutes of
Yeah.
each half we've just not clicked in yet.
Yeah.
But continue, sorry.
No, I mean that was kind of it, right? It's just like it's something that's plagued us all year. So it's like that's kind of like, even though I didn't want to predict because I just didn't know. I mean, this game was such an anomaly. Like you didn't know how it was going to go, but you knew it didn't matter who scored first, whether it was them or us. The game was going to change instantly at that moment. So I mean, the fact that it was them that scored first is, I think at that point doesn't matter because we needed something to happen to make this game explode open. Because that's really what both teams are waiting for. I mean, Detroit's sitting back, waiting for us to make a mistake and counter on us. And we are just, almost, I don't want to say afraid, because I don't think that's the right word for it, but we were too cautious and thinking that we were going to get struck on, as opposed to just saying, screw it. And while I love the response from the team, I mean, the crowd instantly, and again, credit to the crowd, credit to the mob, credit to everyone. Nobody shut down. In fact, it's almost like the 12th man responded, said, screw that. 58th minute, 59th minute, when the goal goes in, we have time. Now, would it have been tight? Sure. You've got 30 minutes score. That's a goal every 10 minutes. That's tight. That's not, especially for a team that doesn't do that. But there was hope there. Like and the stands responded. You could see the players responding too. And all of a sudden, everybody had just an extra step. But there was also, you were seeing frustration build as time went on. Because up until that goal in the 81st, which I'll let you talk about it, but it's like up until that 81st goal, there was a few moments where old Lawrence White was starting to pop his head. Goes to Passia's pass was starting to show up a little bit as far as giving up in certain runs. It's like you could see the frustration building. So it's like, because every 5 minutes that went by, you're just like, shit. Like, this is not good. Now, we did make a sub at halftime. We should mention Moon comes on for Azokar, which I obviously he plays a role in the goal, but I do think that was a good sub to make. I think Moon was effective out there. Some of his dribbling kind of led to nothing. I think he was overly excited in this game, but I do think he added something that Azokar didn't. And not to say Azokar played bad, but I do like what Moon brought in at halftime. But anyway, so we build up to this goal that happens. You want to talk about it, or?
I mean, it was I'm trying to remember. I was leaving the bakery, I think. I was watching on the phone while walking through the bakery.
I've got you on this one if you want. So
Yeah.
On this particular play, Moon is driving up the side. He basically does the whole thing where you play the ball on the one side, runs around the defender to get the ball back right at the touchline, crosses it over. A Detroit defender slightly deflects it, but it lands right into Passius, like, I don't know where you would say, midsection, somewhere in there. And first touch just kicks. I mean, that man put his laces through that ball. I think a year's worth of frustration came out in that kick. I mean, the ball had already hit the net before the keeper could even respond.
Passius has been so good at that all year. These like weird one touch or like volleys that he just rips. And like, that's been his specialty most of this year.
Yeah. I mean, dude, he's got 14 goals on the season.
Yeah.
I mean, he was tied for 5th. I mean, that's only 3 other players in the entire league did better than him at that. I mean, you're right. That's how he scores his goals. I mean, he just makes a random, I don't want to say a random touch, but I mean, he makes a touch, but he generates so much power off of so little, which is, I mean, thank God for him this season, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
without him, I don't even know where the next closest guy is,
I don't know.
as far as scoring this year.
Without him, the playoff hunt would have not been a hunt. It would have been, a powwow on the couch. Yeah. But he was a star this year. I mean, I know there was we could talk about like nitpicking of pressing and like some runs, but he carried us through this year. Can't really argue with that one. It was nice to see Al Lang respond to that goal. Like you said, like that, the way it popped off. I would also say, like, to your point of the frustration showing, there was arms going up. There was people that just, it looked like some were ready just to pack it in for it, and others just kept going. The injection of Leo Fernandez helped because he wasn't going out quietly. So it was just, I don't know, man. It was a fun game. if you as for a neutral, knowing what's at stake, what was going, that second half was good.
Yeah.
Just we didn't belong in the playoffs. Like
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair statement.
I think like I would have loved it if we went. I think we could have maybe cobbled together a result against. I think you and I said it, or I said it somewhere else. This is the type of season that if we went in, we would beat Louisville and then lose to some stupid team somewhere else in the playoffs. And like that's exactly. But obviously we didn't get in, which means the playoffs are irrelevant. Nobody cares. Nobody needs to watch it. Screw the USL. It's over. But I don't know. It was good. I miss that. I miss and I don't the final game of that that last as the crowd leaves, glance around Al Lang, knowing I'm not going to see it until like March or April again the next year.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these guys, obviously Leo and Forrest leaving, and you don't know who else is gone and who else is back. I think on the broadcast, seeing Forrest Lasso cry, like he just stood there and like I was to bring this into an emotional state. Like I posted about it. I said I wasn't going to do it on the pod because I might end up sobbing myself. But I think for me, as much as this season should have ended a while ago and like this playoff run, I didn't want the season to end. Mostly for just strictly emotional reasons. It feels sad in a way of like, it's the last goodbye to Matt, like the season's over. Like we had him for the year. We're doing this. We came back. Well, I came back to this microphone and like, not that I'm not leaving at this end of this year. I'm going to continue we're going to keep this arrangement going where when I'm available, I'll be on. But like saying goodbye to Matt one last time, like, and Forrest and, Lizzie Berta in the stands and Forrest and Leo, like, and all of these other guys. It's just a goodbye I wasn't fully ready for, and I'm still really not. And like in a way it's better this way because like those playoff losses, if it was a shock, like I think that would hurt more of like another sudden end to something. But it's just a shit year all around. Like I shouldn't say all around. I'll get into that later, but it was just a weird year. Like the way it started was not great, losing the people we did. Robbie Nielsen leaving. We've had three head coaches this year. And it's just, in a way, it wouldn't have felt right making the playoffs, if that makes sense.
No.
It would have been bittersweet no matter what.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, and to your point, I mean, I almost think there's something to be said about it finishing at home, at Al Lang. I mean, because if we say that in a different universe, we've won that game and we do go through the playoffs, we wouldn't have seen a home game the rest of the way out. So it almost feels like having that game at home, having everyone have that last moment for the season together in that stance and to end it in the way that we did. I mean, there was all the emotions like you talked about. There is the sadness of what could have been and what should have been this season. There's we know guaranteed, Forrest Lasso has played his last game and Leo Fernandez, the Samba man, has done his last magic out on the field, which by the way, I thought he played beautifully. I really love the way he played in this game. And I'm glad that he had that moment because he hadn't really had that this season. So I was glad to see him, even if it was only for 20, 25 minutes. I'm glad he had that, and then like you said, the Matt passing, which was it was tough, man. It's like we talked like how do we carry that on? How do we carry on his legacy? And it's just this season was just all over the place. I think the way that I kind of approached it was just not business as usual, but I wanted to kind of honor those that we needed to honor, but also move it forward to kind of honor them in that way too. And I'm same way as I look into this offseason now, as Forrest Lasso's out, Leo Fernandez is out. Who knows who else is out? I mean, I'm hoping to hear some stuff back from the team in the coming weeks. We know the Loney's are gone. We know Paul Marie's gone. Like these guys are all going to go back to their parent clubs. This season was it was tough. It was a grind because we never had these elongated moments of excitement. There was like we'd have bits and pieces of things that we'd hold on to. Hence, look at our podcast trend this year. Like we would talk about, there's the things, the building blocks are there. They're doing the small things. But man, this last 2 months, this felt like a Rowdy season that we're familiar with, where the play was coming together. I think Dominic Casiero coming in, really taking this team to a new level. Him learning the league, learning the East, learning the players. I think all were beneficial things. In fact, he talked about it in the post game about how he feels like coming at midseason was probably the best thing that could have happened to him. And I agree, because now he has time to assess what we have here, what the expectation should be, and what he needs to do for himself and as a staff to move us forward to get us to where the fans' expectation is, our expectation is, his expectation, and the players' expectation. So as sad as this thing is coming to an end, I'm also excited because this means that we can close this chapter and we can start to move forward with whatever's next. Obviously, we're going to lose some guys this year. Then I'm sure some will be tougher than others, but I think there's also the opportunity for some big signings to come in as well. And I'm always excited for that. And again, my eternal optimism, or whatever you call it. Look, I mean, I can't help it. I am an optimist, especially when it comes, not in all things, but specifically Rowdies. I'm an optimist. I can't help the fact that I always feel good about where the direction of this team. I mean, tough year, tough season, but I'm grateful to have had it. I wish certain people could have been here to enjoy it with us. I'm so grateful for everything that Leo and Forrest gave us this year. Man, that 19-22 run, I mean, that might be the best run we've ever seen. Ever in Rowdy's uniform, ever. That was amazing, and those two guys were pivotal in that. But that just means, all right, it's time for a new run. It's time for new players to set their legacy, and I'm excited to see who that may be, whether they're already here or they're on their way in. So I don't know, man. I mean, we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about in the off season. I have some interviews kind of lined up to kind of help close out the year that I would do separately from the pod, but it'll be with our thread. Yeah, it's kind of all I got for this one, man. I don't have a whole lot else.
I mean, yeah, like I think before looking ahead, I would also just like to say the club put on, despite the on-field product and the issues that have come and gone, the 50th anniversary celebration was great. Getting the the original team legends, getting the modern era legends, the kits, it was all like off the pitch, but in the stadium was a great year. The graphics were great. I loved the 70s vibe on all of it. Like everything was on point, top to bottom there. So I want to give credit to them on that. And so it wasn't all just, sadness and depression and goodbyes. And it is kind of fitting looking ahead that Stu Sternberg is out. He sold the team. The Rowdies are no longer owned by the Stu Sternberg Rays. We have a new coach that is going to be able to fully set a new culture and a new vision and a new club, I don't want to say era, but I don't know how long he'll stay, but just a small little section of history of his own Rowdies history if this goes well. We saw a bit of what he wants to do, but a lot of these players were loans, a lot were Neil and Robbie holdovers, and and I think there was Lewis Hilton just couldn't he's also gone the way of Leo Fernandez, of just hasn't been able to battle back through injuries, and wouldn't be shocked, sadly wouldn't be shocked if the club moved on from him. I think you can sign him as a substitute, or if you want, I would love to let him retire here. There's just so many, Aaron Guillen apparently is not working with Dom very well because he was benched the last 2 games. So, a lot of that amazing era of modern Rowdies history that we got to witness from 2019 to, 2-3 years ago under Neil, it's going to move on, and it's gonna suck, right? Saying goodbye to fan favorites always sucks, but it's part of the business now. It's part of being a fan, it's part of the business. And I feel better about it with new owners, new manager, and a clean slate. You want to shape something into your own thing. You don't want to keep rolling stuff. I mean, we still have some talent that can roll over, but I think it's fair if a new manager wants to come in and rebuild and remake a team in his image. That's fair. No offense to Neil, still a little butthurt about the way we let Seba Guanzati go. I think, and he was there for Leo's last game, even though he didn't get to play. They didn't get to go head to head one last time. But it would be, I'm a little butthurt about that. I think that's still the one that bothers me. But anyway, it's a new beginning is on the horizon, and I think we should lick our wounds more in the season that what it was, be upset, be angry a little bit, whatever feelings you're feeling at the end of a down year, and understand that like there is a new sunrise, right? Like there's so much that can happen. I always say that the off season, like that preseason part, is my favorite. Like with new signings, players coming together, the hope, the optimism, the joy. Like I said, like this season definitely felt like it was lacking joy in the stands, on the pitch, on what should have been a celebration. Like there was just so much hanging over everything that like I just want the joy back last year or next year. That doesn't mean wins necessarily. I just want joy. Like I want this to be a fun experience for everybody again. Like I want first year being a season ticket holder, and like we pretty much did this show when Matt and I started the show, was Ricky Hills last year. And like, God bless Ricky. Love that man. He brought us our second start, but that team was dog shit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah, they were awful.
And like, so at least Georgie existed. And like, so we've seen bad days, right? Like, we've seen bad days, but it was fun. Like the fans were fun. Like being in the stadium was fun, and like all of that existed. And like we can ensure. I mean, granted, I can't really speak too much to the stadium experience these days. Like I was there for like Matt's goodbye game, and I was in my feels. But like I can tell. I guess I'm basing it on like attendance, and like the mob at times was sparse. The midfield, like we need to get like.
Yeah.
We need that energy and that community back. And I think Dom deserves it. Whatever guys are brought in and whatever guys stay deserve it. This club deserves it. Like, everybody behind the scenes that you don't see works their ass off for a great product. The players work their ass off. And, like, this is the first time in 6-7 years or that we haven't made the playoffs. Like it's been a crazy run. Enjoy this slightly extended off season, catch your breath, rejuvenate, and get ready to go again. Next year's will be fun. Like it is a new beginning. Like it's a new chapter, right? 50 is over. We're going to be in our first year, new owners, new coach. Like I think there is, for once, I'm going to agree and say that you're right. There is cause for hope and optimism on the future. Hopefully we do get some big names in that want to be here, that like are ready to play, and they're high caliber players and people. I think that standard also needs to stay. I don't think, like we've brought in quite a lot of good people, and, let's just relax, right? Like just enjoy the off season a little bit and get ready to fight again next year. And I'm curious to see what Leo Fernandez's new role will be with the club. Hope it's not something silly like brand outreach or like, it should be front office.
Well, I like you. I have no idea what his next move would be. I do know, and I do know that I think he's got his coaching license and stuff like that. Not to say that I think he'll be coaching with the first team, but I think there are other areas. Remember, we have that partnership with Pinellas County United, or the USA Soccer League. I think there's opportunities there where he can still be involved in the game, which he should be. I think he's a great mind for the game. I think he's a great representative of not just the Rowdies, but I think of soccer in general. He's a great human. I mean, you'll be hard-pressed to meet a nicer guy than Leo Fernandez, and I think he's a great advocate for the game. So I hope that he stays involved in the game somehow, at least maybe from that aspect or leadership point of view. But who knows? I know Forrest has got his other businesses going on. Super excited for him and Mel. They seem to have really kind of poured themselves into that opportunity, and if you follow him on social, you see that he's got a lot of passion for that. I mean, Forrest is a passionate guy, right? I mean, it's the way he played. It's the way he lived. How Forrest does one thing, he does everything. And I love that for him because it's why we loved the way he played. And for Leo, it's that quiet, calm, never rattled, just consistent personality that I love about him, that I suspect he'll find his way to be involved somehow. As far as like the player, you got something to add?
Yeah. I was just going to say, I know they announced, they just haven't said what his role will be, but he's taking one with the club.
Yeah.
I would put him on the bench next to Jan Ekra, and that would be how, I don't know if the club can handle that. But it would be.
Well, I mean, we don't even know if Jan's going to hang around. He might have other plans for himself for coaching.
Yeah,
he does coach club teams. He's got other stuff he's going on,
and successfully. Maybe coaches those club teams successfully. I constantly see him posting the trophies they win and all this stuff. Yes. And like, he didn't. All that man does is win.
I know, right? I kind of, yeah, again, another to your point that you made, another quality person, another
Yeah.
just wonderful human, just the best of the best, right? But who knows? I mean, look, there's opportunities there. I'm glad to know that he will still, in some way, shape, or form, be involved. I had hoped prior to his announcement that he would take on the Lucky role. I thought that would have been a good situation for him, but I'm not, I'm not sitting in his home. I'm not sitting there with his wife and kids and pardoning those discussions. I don't know where he's at mentally. So for whatever reason he made this choice, I'm happy for him regardless, because we got him for 7 amazing seasons, which was awesome, because he came in the year after I joined the club. And he was one of the first people that would come. Like, I remember even within his first couple of days, he came up, introduced himself, was always just super polite. He treated everybody on staff the same way, And I remember that was a big thing that Neil Collins did. Character was a huge thing for him, and
Which, which is funny.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you remember, like Neil Collins. I love that man to death, and everybody who's come into the league more recently knows him as a successful coach with the Rowdies and the successful coach with Sacramento. But this man used to roast his teammates on Twitter. In person. Remember when they did the kit reveal at the Mahaffey and Neil came out and just roasted everybody? Like, just was, and then like 3 weeks later, he was the head coach, and you were like, and he like shut his socials down and was like serious and yelling, and you were like, no, this isn't Neil Collins. Neil Collins is this dorky, like tall, scrawny Scottish dude that'll fight you and make fun of you. And it was like a 180 in personality, and I love it. Like, I know that Neil's still there, but like public facing, like he just like the shield went up, and I was like, son of a bitch. Like, it was so
you
funny.
got to see. Well, you got to see him behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the public image of Neil, very much he showed one thing. But the second you got away from that and you were just kind of around him and any of his guys or the players, that never left.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I love about it, because anyone was fair game. It's like if you left it open, he was taking it.
Yep. It was crazy. And
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was crazy because like sometimes you wouldn't even think you left yourself open, and Neil was right there, and you're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of new fans that have come in and joined in the last few years that don't remember the lean days. So I get a lot of the reactions we get, which, I mean, you always give me shit for it about jumping in the comment section, but I always love waiting in there just for funsies, because I don't know, I like fun.
It's not fun.
I love to.
It's infuriating.
Well, I've had a few rants about it, as we all know, but it is fun. I like stirring the pot. I mean, surprise, anyone that knows me, I like to stir the pot. But I get it, and so I look at those comments, and I like to mess with people and talk shit, but at the same time, it's like, I like that this is their expectation of what the club should be, because I think that's a good. I think it's a good thing at the same time.
Firing Dom Cazziato?
No. Like, we're not talking about those morons. Those idiots don't get to talk. But I do love that that some of these young fans have high expectations for this team, and they want to hold us to winning and being a top tier team and a top tier club amidst all the shenanigans that's happened. Now, to the ones that make those dumbass fire Dom after 2 weeks comments, no, they're idiots, and I've told them they're dummies. I'm looking at you. I still think you're dumb, because you are.
I just want to say, if the people making those comments are listening to our show, don't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Continue to listen.
I hope they are. I hope they get mad every time I talk them.
I don't think those people are listening to the show. If they are, like, we're not doing our jobs if they think that we should fire Dom.
Never. No, but I love that their expectation is winning. That's the culture that Neil built, right? And I thank him for his legacy in building that. And now it's Dominic Cazziato's turn to do the same thing. And I absolutely believe that he will have his extra. I cannot say any players specifically. I have talked to certain people that are in the know. There is a lot of desire to come to this club and a lot of expressed interest to come here. I am excited for what is to come in this offseason.
That's great. That's great. I just have to make this comment on Dom.
Oh, fuck.
I never listened to the audio because I've been too busy on the post game stuff since like he has been coach. And I finally caught like a halftime or post game interview. I did not think that that's what that man sounded like. I don't know what I expected from his voice and accent, but I was like, who the hell is talking? No. And I was like, I'm still so weird. Like, it didn't connect in my head for some reason. And then, like, I love the guy. I just didn't expect that to be his voice and accent. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, at first I thought it was Steve Coleman doing something weird. And then I was like, what is happening? Anyway.
You're 100% right, because he does the post game in the English and Spanish. And it's like, wait, are you?
Yeah.
Are you? Are you? I don't know.
It's
because his the way he speaks, even his cadence changes.
Yeah.
Between Spanish and English, which is kind of interesting, but that's something you guys will probably want to hear much of. But post-game interviews are always interesting.
Also, just to keep this fun stuff rolling now, my favorite Leo Fernandez memory was after that Eastern Conference final against Louisville that we came back on.
Okay.
And he called Matt and I over and threw us the back-to-back champion shirts out of the box that were meant for players and staff. And Matt and I, and then brought us into the team photo.
I didn't even get one of those shirts, by the way. I still hate you.
I still have one from that night, and we're in the photo. You see Matt and I's head poking up behind the players, and like, because Leo was just like, "Come in, you guys, you should be." And just before, I don't even think most of the players and staff had shirts yet, and Leo was just giving them to us. Love that dude.
It was an all-out celebration.
Yeah.
I was standing behind all the camera people taking those and seeing you guys in there. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
We were more part of the club than you ever were.
Okay. All right. Well, I won 2 golf tournaments with Neil Collins, so
I don't golf.
I don't know, but
I don't golf. Sorry.
Neither do I. I wasn't the one that carried us.
I didn't think you would be.
I am an okayest golfer. Yeah.
I think the last time I played golf was my best friend Gareth's wedding, and it's been 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Also, I can't move my left arm to swing a golf club right now, so like that's not going to happen.
You know who else is on our team? We had Connor Antley on our team. We were back-to-back champs. Every time I see him, I was like, "What's up, champ?" He's like, "What's up, champ?"
That's why you won. That is why you won. You had Connor Antley to chirp everybody and distract them, and Neil Collins was like getting the job done.
Well, technically, yes. Also, surprisingly good golfer.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but yeah,
Were you the cart lady just driving around, making sure everybody's hydrated?
So I was good for one good shot per hole. One good shot. Could not put a whole hole together, but let me tell you what, one shot per hole, I was dropping dimes.
Was it like a scramble? I don't know why we're into this, but
it's whatever. It was the beginning of the year. Neil wanted to bring everyone together, including Jeff and myself, to be a part of this. He brought in, and it was just like best ball kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh,
and it was just fun. And it was fun.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But yeah,
stuff this club needs, like just team building, bonding, moving on. Like,
I talked to people about this post game. I talked to Perry Vanderbeek about a post game. I talked about a couple other people. I don't know what happened in the offseason other than the Hurricanes took everything out. And I don't know if the team was hamstrung. I don't know what the initiative was from the higher ups to the club or why things didn't happen. All I know is the season played out the way it played out. And we saw things get looser as the year went on. We saw this team grow. We saw everybody, staff, players as a whole, everyone grow throughout the season. And to go from where we started to where we ended, I mean, as a whole, I mean, what a ride this year was. And I get that it didn't end the way we wanted to end, but man, what was it? 3 months ago, we talked about this. Like, we just wanted to play meaningful games in October. And I know you and I went back and forth about the meaning behind meaningful games. And I appreciate your point of view on this. I just take a little bit different take on it. But at least we were playing in October with an opportunity or a chance, which 3-4 months ago, I figured we would be where Miami is. So far out of this thing, nothing matters. Players are already packed in, shut down. Bench guys are getting more play time. Like, I didn't want this year to go completely that direction. And I'm so glad that, be it through Lonies or whoever, new coach, all these things, all these things happened. I was glad that at least on the last day of the season at home, there was something on the line and that place was full and it was exciting, at least for a period of time again. And it was great to have that feeling back because I just feel like we were robbed of so much from last year to this year of a lot of that emotion.
But I do want to push back a little small bit because we did make the playoffs last year.
I know.
And like, whether you think it was earned or not, we weren't that bad last year. We were mid-table, mid-playoff table, which was a drop. And yeah, I mean, and like, I think we talked about it early on, right before he got fired, of the fire Robbie like sign at the last home game at IMG or wherever the hell it was. And it just, the vibe was off. And I definitely do like, you know, like the vibe was off. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't sold on Robbie by then either. And I just thought like if the fire Robbie stuff could have happened after the playoff game. It felt weird going into the playoffs wanting to fire your manager, and probably shouldn't have brought him back. But from a fan's perspective, can't speak to. But and hindsight's 2020. Like if you were going to give him 4 games on the leash, then why bring him back at all? I mean, unless like, don't get me wrong, it seems to have worked out, right? Like if we fired Robbie in the offseason, we probably don't get Dom Cassiato. There weren't I don't know any coaches with USL experience off the top of my head that were available at that time. So maybe that's why you do it. But, and hope that Robbie, because Robbie's games last year weren't bad. Like they were entertaining, they were chaotic, they were goal fests or snooze fests. Like there was no in between. And we played either really well or really badly, or we played really well and then really badly in the same game. I'll never forget that like 3 or 4-0 collapse early on in the season, which was batshit crazy. So at least we were entertained. And then this season vibe was completely off, and they tried to, and they did, I will say, like, you know, we talked about earlier, the club really tried to pull us out of the tailspin with loanies and coaches, and nobody gave up. So you're right. Like by July, it did not, October, even like August, it didn't seem like September, October was going to be anything like meaningful wise. And I said to Ben, we were talking about it, I was like, is it meaningful? Even if we lose, like, is this meaningful? Like the playoffs, even if we win, we're not guaranteed a playoff spot. So is it really that meaningful? I mean, turns out like if we would have won by 2, it would have been, but I'm just cynical on this right now. Like I've just been, you know, like, but you're right. You know, the club behind the scenes pulled the strings they needed to pull. And it's hard for any team. I don't know if Nicholas Murray or if there's even a stat about this. I don't know any team that changes their coach 3 times in a year or has 3 coaches in a year makes the playoffs. Like that's just unheard of, you know, because you have a preseason and then you have the season with Robbie. So you had a 4-game season. He gets fired. Steve Coleman has a preseason, which is all of the top of the table.
I know. Don't forget the
yeah, and then you throw in the Jaeger Cup games, which were top of the table, and all of those injuries. So now and then, so then he starts to get his feet under him. The club starts to come out of this tailspin. We hire a new coach, and then it's another preseason and another bit of injuries, and then we finally get to a point where the Rowdies are playing what should be mid-season form with players, and we looked good. Yeah, there was the game against Rhode Island in Rhode Island was bad. There's no,
that was awful.
But like, there were highlights of the season, and I think we should be grateful we had 3 seasons in this season, and no other team got to experience it. They can all suck butts. Like, you know, we got bonus soccer. Screw you guys. You get 1.
We got 3 preseasons and 1.
Yeah, you know, so it was just an interesting year, and I think the club has handled it as well as we sat here and we said we need to hire a coach, we need a right back, we need we need a striker, we need a midfield, and they went and addressed those needs. And like, you know, I'm not saying it's because of us. It's just that they were responsive. They saw the need as well and went out and did it. And I think that deserves all the plaudits, no matter how the season ended. And to the point of the last game, it's the same thing, right? Like, I don't care the result as long as you went for it. And I think that first half we didn't go for it, which is why it was so frustrating. But the club as a whole went for it, and they made that push. And that is the thing the lesson we should take, is that this club does still want to win. The standard hasn't dropped, even if the play has. And I think that as long as the standard doesn't drop, the play will come back quickly.
Yeah. Well, and and just because them identifying a need and trying to go out and find a fix or a player for that need doesn't mean you're going to find one either. It's not like these players are all each other. Every team is looking for extra. Every team is looking for reserve. They're looking for an extra player to fill in this role. Every team has injuries. I mean, Paul Marie I don't know how the hell that one came to be. Could have been any team. It didn't have to just necessarily be us, right? Anybody could have picked him up. It's like, there's no perfect way that this thing, necessarily plays out. But I think the commitment that the team made once we got some stability under Steve Coleman, they put some investment back in, and it showed. And I am grateful for that, because that gave us this final 6-7 games. I know, throughout Rhode Island. I don't know what the hell that was, but every team throws a stinker. It just happens.
Yeah, but that was
ours.
That was our
sucks.
meaningful game at the end of the season.
Like, but can you throw it on that game, considering we took the first 2/3 of the season basically off?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not willing to throw all the stock on the last 5-6 games without looking at the first 12, 15 and say,
Yes, and that's saying that the last game of the season didn't really matter because we sucked the first half. If we won that Rhode Island game, the playoffs were still in our control.
Sure. But at least you're playing with an opportunity. At least we're showing up to that last game playing spoiler. We're showing up in that last game with an opportunity. And I guess that's the difference for me. I mean, regardless how everything else played out, we get to show up to that game with a chance. As it turns out, we had a really good chance. But, I think that game played out the way that our season played out.
Oh, yeah. The deflection, like everything is wonky. Like the goal, it was like, did they kind of deserve that goal? Yeah, but also wonky deflection. Like, it's been worldlies and deflections all year, like it's just been a weird on-field year. And like, maybe this offseason somebody like burns sage all throughout Lang, like on the pitch, in the locker rooms, in the stands, like, what's it like, maybe burn somebody's jersey or something. I don't know, maybe Robbie left something during the rebuilding of Al Lang, hid it somewhere. We need to find it and burn it to end this curse.
There was no wall unopened in that place. Trust me, after that hurricane. God. Yeah, man. Whatever we got to do, just tie a bunch of sage to the helicopter, and let's do the helicopter thing again across the field. And maybe that just
bring back Bill Edwards.
The whole place.
Just bring back Bill Edwards. Just wheel him up to, midfield. And
completely random and off topic, but on point. I follow Bill Edwards on my LinkedIn, and he is a tremendous follow. He is still all in the community, doing all kinds of things, arts and culture. Like that man, I could say a lot of things about him, good and bad, but that guy just keeps going. And yeah, I mean, look, there was one guaranteed under Bill Edwards. It was going to be entertaining, and that hasn't changed. I mean, the helicopter thing, which had zero effect on drying the field, but it looked cool, and it was a great social moment,
The Bill Edwards era is the closest thing we came to old school original NASL cocaine cowboy days. Because, like,
great reference.
It felt like we were on cocaine during that era, like unhinged stuff, and like
a couple players were, and then they weren't.
Yeah, Hi Willie Hunt, enjoy that one. God, I'll never forget like checking my phone and seeing like Rowdies player Willie Hunt arrested for cocaine, and I was like, oh God, this team. Like, I think about all the crap we've covered on the show and all of the last and stuff. The stories we've told that we haven't been able to tell on the show, like the tell-alls we've heard behind the scenes and like exit interviews we've just off the record have done, and it's just the Bill Edwards time was just so crazy, and like I just don't understand how he was allowed anywhere near this club for so long. I'm glad he was.
I mean,
I'm glad he was.
Right. His financial investment in the club saved us.
Yeah, I mean,
it might have been wild and it might not have been traditional, but at the end of the day, his investment saved this club.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how close we were at that moment.
right, like we didn't.
Not that we would have ever closed, not we would ever shut our doors. There would have been some other owner come in, but I think his investment, his style, very much created a lot of what happened.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, much like
I don't know if
Neil becoming head coach.
Yeah, I mean, the Neil Collins thing was crazy too. We can, but I mean, just
But we got Joe Cole. I mean, Marcel Schaefer,
but
Martin Vingard. I mean,
all of this stuff off the he got us Al Lang. I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. I don't know if anybody could have done what he did in terms of Al Lang. Like, I know we were there, but like we didn't have a lawnmower. Like, it was dilapidated even more so than it is now. We didn't control the revenue. Like, we were just barely tenants. We were just kind of like squatting on the field. And he got us the updated scoreboard and the midfield and these long-term leases.
Scoreboard.
Like he did so much for building a strong, consistent foundation for this club outside of like the Joe Coles, Marcel Schaefer's, Martin Vingards. Like, he brought in quality past their prime players that were fun to watch, but
Yeah.
you know, like, he splashed the cash even if it wasn't working. And the Neil Collins thing, like the fact that he was just like, I want you to be coach, and Neil's like, what? I thought you were just going to talk to me about firings too, and you want what, is insane. Like, but a brilliant move. I mean, say what you will about Bill Edwards, he got that one right.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it's like there's so much in the history of all this stuff, and I mean, I'm grateful for Bill. I'm grateful for Stu Sternberg. I mean, I for what's transpired under his watch, and now, I mean, we got a new opportunity with a new coach. And we're going to have a lot of new players. I think this will be the final, I don't want to say straw. I don't know the word I'm looking for. You're far smarter than I am, so I'm sure you'll come with a better word for it. But this will be the final part of the play, I think, for the Neil Collins era player. I think not all, but I do think this will be the biggest changeover to no longer be Neil's team or Neil's players and really taking on Dom's identity as a team. And I think it's good to finally have that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. Love Aaron Guillen, love Lewis Hilton, love a lot of these guys that have been with us. I think it is important as change happens that we embrace that change. Change is good. I suck at change and a lot of my things in my personal life. But when it comes to the team and the expectations here, change is, I think, necessary. And I look forward to that.
Yeah, I will say, I think part of where the Robbie era went wrong was the wrong change. Like, we changed the wrong players, right? Like, some of them should have gone, like, especially last season, he was kind of all Neil's players and wasn't really fully built for what he wanted, which is why I think some of that wonky happened. But he had a chance this past offseason to make it into his image. And I don't know if what finger, or like who the finger needs to be pointed at, but it was like a half-assed rebuild where we lost the quality players and probably could have cut a few of the dead weight and to change it over. Like, that process should have happened last offseason and it wasn't done correctly. So I don't know if that was like where to point. And I think you're right. I think this offseason is a time for like more turnover, to bring in younger players that Dom knows or that Dom can work with and wants to work with and build and work to his plan. It's going to suck. Off seasons are never fun. The releases and contracts, like, nobody enjoys it. But let me put another damper on this.
No,
I don't know
right.
how much you can talk about since you're employed by the team. The USL Players Association does not have a collective bargaining agreement in place for next year.
That's right. I did hear about this.
So currently, there was a collective, the USL players unionized 3 years ago, I think it was. Their current CBA runs out, and they are currently, which, mind you, I didn't realize this wasn't settled under the last CBA, but apparently they don't have league mandated health insurance, meaning clubs don't have to provide health insurance for their players, which is, pardon my French, horseshit. They give their all for these clubs. If your club can't afford health insurance, maybe you don't deserve to own a club. But like, and the league doesn't seem to be budging at the moment on this. I know the Players Association has asked fans to support them by blocking the USL Championship on Instagram. I don't know how much support what that gives. Maybe just to let them know that the fans stand behind him. I don't know. I'm not in the action there. I support it, but we might not have an on-time start next season if they can't hammer out a deal.
Interesting. The only reason why I think there won't be a delay is because even under those circumstances, without the health insurance, which I'm with you, I'm a human. Every human deserves health insurance, health care. There's no reason that any owner of any of these teams can't afford to provide that for these players. They earned it. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into you. It's only fitting you should do the same return. But I digress. I don't know that we do. I'm almost certain we do here, but I don't know that information. But I also know that there's a fine line between the top players and the lower players as far as what they make. And I don't think any player in that middle road can afford not to play. So I suspect they'll find a way. I don't know if that plays into the league or ownership's advantage, whether it gets pushed back another gear. I would hope it doesn't, because I know just from our perspective of players that we know and the people that we reach out and talk to, how important that is to have that kind of security. So I would hope that they would address it and fix it, but
so
it's tough to say.
What I'm hearing from my crazy lefty political brain is we should be starting a fund for striking players so we could support them to get healthcare. We should organize the supporters groups.
It's not a crazy idea not to be that guy. I doubt it works, but I love to be proven wrong. I love the idea. I love the thought behind it. I think it all comes from a good, healthy place if it could be done. But I would prefer that the league and teams step up. I think there's enough money in these ownership groups. I mean, we're talking more and more teams building multi-million-dollar, multi-purpose stadiums. You're going to tell me you can't take a percentage of that and put it into your players?
Right, just for health insurance.
I find that very hard to believe. I don't know why that's such a hard concept for people. But I'm 100% in agreement with you on this one. This is something that should be bare minimum. If you come play for us, we've got your healthcare coverage and we've got you a fair wage. Make it competitive. Otherwise, what's the incentive for players to come play for you? I know that one of the incentives that we have is, 1, we get to play in the beautiful Tampa area. 2, no state tax. 3, we provide health insurance. 4, you get to live in freaking the greater Tampa area, specifically St. Pete, and play at Al Lang for an historic club. People want to come here. When you provide these things, the caliber of player that becomes interested only goes up. I mean, you're adding value to your team by providing more. And I don't know how you get that across to other owners. I don't know specifically any team that does or doesn't provide it, but to me, it just makes sense that you would want to do those things to give extra incentive to throw at players with, hey, we have health insurance, we have these things, we have a fair wage, we got a beautiful place to live, great, beautiful stadium to play in. Like, those are all things that I would think that you'd want to do for those reasons to only help bolster your club, right?
Yeah.
But what do I know?
It's also crazy because USL wants to start a first division and they can't even provide security for their second and lower divisions. Like, these are things to me, like, just as a human being, should be basic if we're going to do these things. So I don't want to get bogged down in the labor dispute details. Something to think about, that like maybe we should, as fans, support our players to get health care. Even if the Rowdies I'm not surprised the Rowdies do. They seem to have been a good club with the good club ethos from the beginning, but other players might not be so lucky. It's something to look at. I think we should be finding ways to support our players. We support them on the pitch for 90 minutes. We should support the league players for the rest of the time. Owners have plenty of money. Like, they should be able to provide basic standards, like healthy standards for this league. And I hope a resolution happens. I don't want a work stoppage. I don't want a lockout or anything. We've seen these things in other leagues. Like, I can remember the Lightning won their first Stanley Cup in 2004, and there was a lockout the following year, and it killed all fan momentum and all of that, and for the league.
Yep.
Baseball's had lockouts, and that has affected NBA. Like all of these sports have had lockouts, and it never goes well for the momentum in the league. And we're coming up to a World Cup year, so I would like to see the USL continue to grow and gain exposure for probably my favorite league in this country. I know Ben loves Messi, so he doesn't. The Rowdies are his second team, so.
Ooh, wow. Okay, all right.
I would like.
I guess the jokes are back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would just like to see us continue with that momentum and raise the standard of professional leagues. So hopefully the owners do the right thing. But I will be supporting the players in any way, shape, or form. If that's something you're interested in doing, I'm sure you could reach out to the players' union to see how we can do it. I might do that on my own and offer some advice and whatever. But yeah, so. Back to soccer. We've been talking for over an hour. We'll come back in a week or two and do a whole season wrap where I'm sure we'll have more feelings, thoughts, and jokes and sadness. But we'll do this again and wrap it up. I think we should, while we're on here, before we wrap, Matt and I used to do and Jake, we used to do what we call the Subby Awards, our best for each position and whatever superlatives we want. So Ben, think about who you want to give subbies to for best offensive, best midfielder, best defender, best bench warmer. Are
we doing that today or are we doing that for next? Oh, thank God, because I got to put way more thought into this.
Yeah, no, think about it.
Okay, no, love it.
We can
just bring it back.
We can even do Rowdy's Coach of the Year since we had 3 of them. So
we can. Well, I think that's pretty obvious who that one is.
Yeah, Steve Coleman. I mean, what are you talking about?
We love you, Steve.
But yeah, so think about that, and we'll get this out there. Thanks for listening. Do you have a "We love you"? I mean, I think it's obvious Leo and Forrest.
Yeah, it can't be anybody else. It's got to be those two, just for everything they've done for this club. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are today without those guys. With guys like that.
Yeah,
like the statues, when they build them, those two should be there with them.
Yep.
The only thing I would add before closing out is, again, to the fans, anyone listening, please send us your thoughts. Remember, don't email or don't send them to the
Instagram
social media pages. We don't have access to those.
You can send Facebook and Blue Sky. Instagram, we cannot get to.
So, and you can always reach out to me directly or just comment on the videos that we post. Either way, again, this show is yours. Love to hear your thoughts. Some more than others. Some of y'all can just not do that. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts into the year and your thoughts on who you think was our strongest players, who you want to see come back.
Yeah, we can put
moments that were special to you. I think that would be a great to have you guys be a part of one of our closeout.
We can do social posts of who the little subby fan voting for the subbies this year too, and have people throw their.
I like that.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll get those posts going.
Cool. All right, I like it. I got nothing else, man.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of all I got today.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to be back. So everybody, take care. We'll be back. Enjoy the start of the off season, but not too much. Get ready for next season, and still, come on, you Rowdies.
Come on, you Rowdies.
The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, and then they fall on the ground. Oh, the Rowdies, the Rowdies, the Rowdies are kicking the grass. When the Rowdies play soccer, it's a sight to behold. You'll swear they'll be devils with magical toes. You'll laugh, you'll cheer, you'll leap from your seat when they kick with their head instead of their feet. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, and then they fall on the ground. Oh, the Rowdies, the Rowdies, the Rowdies are kicking the grass. When the Tampa Bay Rowdies take the field, there's a roar. The fans, loyal fannies, cheer the team they adore.